Good morning, everyone. My topic for today is about building information systems. We use the Book of Ladon 13th edition for this one. This chapter is subdivided into 4 topics: system as planned organizational change, and overview of systems development will be the first part and will be reported by me, and the next 2 topics will be reported by Miss April. Alternative systems building approaches and application development for the digital firm. One kind of planned organizational change is building a new information system. It is said that when we design a new information system, we are redesigning the organization. Because we are not just only acquiring a new hardware and software, but there might be a possibility in changes in jobs, skills, management, and even the whole organization. Information technology can promote various degrees of organizational change. We have 4 kinds of structural change that are enabled by information technology. We have automation, rationalization, business process redesign, and paradigm shift. So each one carries different risks and rewards. So naturally, from figure 13.1, we can see that when the risk is low, the return will also be low. So when the risk is high, there's a possibility of high return also. The most common form of IT-enabled organizational change is automation. It involves assisting employees with performing their tasks more efficiently and effectively, as it mechanizes procedures to speed up the performance of existing tasks. Examples of these are paychecks and payroll registers calculation and the instant access given to the bank tellers for the customer's deposit records. As we automate things, we can find some new bottlenecks in production and making the arrangement of procedures and structures painful. So, a deeper form of organizational change, one that follows quickly from early automation, is the rationalization of procedures. So, here we streamline the standard operating procedures. So, rationalization is often found in programs for making a series of continuously quality improvements in products, services, and operations. So example of this are total quality management or TQM, wherein it makes achieving quality an end in itself and the responsibility of all people and functions within an organization. And the other one is Six Sigma, which is a specific measure of quality. Another IT-enabled organizational change is business process redesign. So this one is more powerful compared to automation and rationalization of procedures. Here, business processes are analyzed, simplified, and redesigned. And it reorganizes workflows, combining steps to cut waste and eliminate repetitive, paper-intensive tasks. Sometimes the redesign also eliminates some jobs. If you have noticed some of the Jollibee and McDonald's store that we have here in the Philippines, they have set up a machine or a kiosk wherein you'll be the one to tap your order, then you'll be the one to select your orders, then have it confirmed, and then a paper will be printed out. Then this paper with the assigned number, you have to give it to the cashier for payment, and then later on, you have to proceed to the releasing area. So this redesign eliminate a job, which is the one who should take the orders. And also, if you have visit SM Aura Jollibee, they have what they call the Jollibot. It is a machine that will deliver your orders. So Jollibee provided a queue number that you have to place in your table, and Jollibot can detect where is the location of your table and have your orders delivered in your specific location. So lastly, the more radical form of business change is called a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift involves rethinking the nature of the business and the nature of the organization. And this will be more discussed in the next chapter. Since information technology is the new thing in today's businesses, companies is using it to improve their business processes. Some of these systems entail incremental process change. And to deal with these changes, organizations are turning to business process management. BPM provides variety of tools and methodologies to analyze existing processes, design it, and optimize the processes. Since change is something permanent in this world, companies practicing business process management have to go through the following steps. First step in business process management is to identify processes for change. We have to identify which of our process needs to be improved. We also have to note which is the most important and how are we going to improve the processes. Second step is to analyze existing processes. Existing business processes should be modeled and documented, noting inputs, outputs, resources, and the sequence of activities. The process redesign team identifies redundant steps, paper-intensive tasks, bottlenecks, and other inefficiencies. So we have here an example of an as-is business process for purchasing a book from a physical bookstore. So traditionally, a customer go to bookstore and search for the shelves to find the book that they want to purchase. So if they found it, they can purchase it and take home the book. But if we're not able to find it, we can ask the clerk for assistance to be able to find the book. So if they successfully found the book, we can purchase it and take it home. But let's say that the book is not available. So we have to inquire about ordering it. So our options in ordering it is, sometimes we ask if they have the book available in their other branches. Or another option is, if it is out of stock, we will ask when will it arrive in their store, or when will the book be available. So usually they know the time frame for this, and they will just say that they will contact you once they have the stocks. So let's say after a week, the book arrived in the bookstore. So the bookstore will notify you, they will call you, or they will text you that the book is now available. Then you, as the customer, will have to go to the bookstore to purchase it. So as observed in this, purchasing a book from a physical bookstore requires many steps to be performed by both the seller and the customer. Since it's tedious, we have to design the new process for us to eliminate some steps. So in designing the new process, we have to map the existing process and measure it in terms of time and cost. The process design team will try to improve the process by designing a new one. A new streamlined to-be process will be documented and modeled for comparison with the old process. So now let's see how they design the new process for the as-is purchasing of a book from a physical bookstore. So the redesign process is to purchase a book online. So we just have to access the online bookstore, then search the online catalog, or search the theme or genre of the book that we want to purchase. If it is available, then we can order it as to the quantity, and we also have to encode our payment details, and then we'll be able to receive the book, or the book will be delivered to us. So if we can find the book in the online bookstore, of course, we just have to select other online bookstore. So it's just like us browsing some things to our Shopee account or Lazada account or Amazon or anything online. So that's a sample of a business process redesign. So fourth step is to implement the new process. So once the new process has been thoroughly modeled and analyzed, it must be translated into a new set of procedures and work rules. The new process and supporting systems are rolled out into the business organization. As the business starts using this process, problems are uncovered and addressed. Employees working with the process may recommend improvements. So last step is continuous measurement. Once a process has been implemented and optimized, it needs to be continually measured. Why? Because processes may deteriorate over time as employees fall back on old methods. So we embrace organizational change for us to move forward and not just work on the old methods that we know. Sometimes the problem is we don't want to explore or we don't want to try new things, so we just stick to what's the old one. But then again, if you're not able to adapt the changes, we will never move forward. BPM poses challenges. Executives report that the largest single barrier to successful business process change is organizational culture. Employees do not like unfamiliar routines and often try to resist change. System development is activities that go into producing an information system solution to an organizational problem or opportunity. It is a structured kind of problem solved with distinct activities. And activities that I'm pertaining to are system analysis, systems design, programming, testing, conversion, and production and maintenance. System analysis is the analysis of a problem that a firm tries to solve with an information system. It defines the problem, identify the causes, specify the solution, and identify the information requirements. System analysis is simply saying, here's the requirements that I'm looking for and do something to meet my requirements. So here's how it is done. First is to identify the primary owners and users of data along with the existing hardware and software. Then the system analyst details the problems of the existing systems. By examining documents, work papers, and procedures, observing system operations, and interviewing key users of the system, the analyst can identify the problem areas and objectives a solution would achieve. Often, the solution requires building a new information system or improving an existing one. So, these activities involves including a feasibility studies, just like in our undergrad. Feasibility study is made to determine whether the solution is feasible or achievable from a financial, technical, and organizational standpoint. The systems analysis process identifies several alternative solutions that the organization can pursue and assess the feasibility of each. A written systems proposal report describes the cost and the benefits and the advantages and the disadvantages of each alternative. So once we found out which one is the most feasible solution, we have to establish the information requirements. The information requirements of a new system involves identifying who needs what information, where, when, and how. Requirements analysis carefully defines the objectives of the new or modified system and develops a detailed description of the functions of the new system must perform. So, faulty requirement analysis will lead to system failure and high systems development cost. So just remember that at least we have to meet the requirements or we have to establish the information system for us not to be the cause of failure of the system. Some problems do not require an information system solution, but instead, they just need an adjustment in management, additional training, or refinement of existing organizational procedures. So the question is, did we meet the requirements or we just need to adjust? System analysis describes what a system should do to meet information requirements. And system design shows how the system will fulfill this objective. So system designs is the overall plan or model for the system. It consists of all the specifications that give the system its form and structure. The systems designer details the system specifications that will deliver the functions identified during system analysis. These specifications should address all of the managerial, organizational, and technological components of the system solution. So table 13.1 layouts the design specifications. This is like the blueprint in layman's term. So in output, we have medium, content, timing. Then for input, we have origins, flow, and data entry, and so on and so forth. So what makes one design superior to others is the ease and efficiency with which it fulfills user requirements within a specific set of technical, organizational, financial, and time constraints. The role of end users. Users must have sufficient control over the design process to ensure that the system reflects their business priorities and information needs. Working on design increases users' understanding and acceptance of the system. So we have to familiarize ourselves with the new system. And how are we going to do it? We have to continually use the system. The remaining steps in the system's development process translate the solution specification established during system analysis and design into a fully operational operating system. So, programming. During the programming stage, system specifications that were prepared during the design stage are translated into software program code. So today, many organizations no longer do their own programming for new systems. Instead, they purchase the software that meets the requirements for a new system from external sources. So there are actually a lot of software vendors. There are available software packages from a commercial software vendor, software services from an application service provider, or outsourcing firms that develop custom application software for their clients. So us in our company, we recently purchased a HRIS system with payroll processing, and last 2018 we also purchased an SIP system to meet the requirements. So in simplicity, if you can't do your own programming, you just have to buy the software. So just like in food, instead of creating or making a food, you'll just buy it somewhere. So next step is testing. This ensures that the system produces the right results. This also should answer the question, will the system produce the desired results under known conditions? Testing is time-consuming, and test data must be carefully prepared, results reviewed, and corrections must be made in the system. In some instances, parts of the system may have to be redesigned too. Testing an information system can be broken down into 3 types of activities, and these are unit testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. In unit testing or program testing, it consists of testing each program separately in the system. It is widely believed that the purpose of such testing is to guarantee that programs are error-free. But then, of course, this goal is realistically impossible. Testing should be viewed instead as a means of locating errors in programs, focusing on finding all the ways to make a program fail. So once they are pinpointed, problems can be corrected. System testing tests the functioning of the information system as a whole. It tries to determine whether discrete modules will function together as planned and whether discrepancies will exist between the way the system actually works and the way it was conceived. Acceptance testing provides the final certification that the system is ready to be used in a production setting. System tests are evaluated by users and reviewed by management. When all parties are satisfied that the new system meets their standards, the system is formally accepted for installation. The system's development team works with users to devise a systematic test plan. So the test plan that involves all of the preparations for the series of tests we just have described. So on the right is a sample test plan to test a record change. So we can see here that various conditions are tested. So once a condition is tested, they also write here what's the output or what happened after they execute the condition. So test plans requires input from both end users and information system and specialists. So conversion is the process of changing from old system to the new system. It has four main strategies. Parallel strategy, both the old system and its potential replacement are run together for a time. Direct cutover strategy replaces the old system with the new system on appointed day. Pilot study strategy introduces the new system to only a limited area of the organization. And the last is the phased approach strategy, wherein it introduces the new system in stages, either by functions or by organizational units. Conversion requires end-user training and finalization of detailed documentation showing system works from technical and end-user standpoint. So as I have said that we bought a HRIS recently, so relating it here in conversion in parallel strategy, so we use the new system at the same time the old system for 2 months. So these two systems should produce the same result. If the net pay in the new system is 1 million, then the old system should meet the 1 million net pay too. So the direct cutover test or strategy, this is the time that we will no longer use the old system and just focus on the new system. So we decided to stop the use of old system last January, and on that day too, we no longer have a backup or the old system. So for the pilot study, we first used to try the system to a division or department in our sales team. So from there, we're able to test if the finger biometrics were able to be caught up in the DSR and all the filed leave form, overtime, and business client meetings are all captured by the system and were processed. So once it's confirmed that the system is really working, then it's now time for the whole company to use the system. After the new system is installed and conversion is complete, the system is said to be in production. So during this stage, the system will be reviewed by both users and technical specialists to determine how well it has met its original objectives and to decide whether any revisions or modifications are in order. This may include post-implementation audit document. After the system has been fine-tuned, it must be maintained while it is in production to correct errors, meet requirements, or improve processing efficiency. Changes in hardware, software, documentation, or procedures to a production system to correct errors, meet new requirements, or improve processing efficiency are termed maintenance. To summarize the system's development process, System analysis identifies problems, specifies solutions, and establishes information requirements. System design creates the design specifications. Programming translates the design specifications into program code. Testing can be performed either by unit, system, or acceptance testing. Conversion. We plan the conversion, prepare documentation, and train users and technical staff. And lastly, for production and maintenance, we operate the system, evaluate the system, and modify the system. There are alternative methodologies for modeling and designing systems, and the most common are structured methodologies and object-oriented. So in structured methodologies, since it is structured, techniques are step-by-step, while in object-oriented, it uses the object as the basic unit of system analysis and design. So I won't further discuss this, as I believe that this will be discussed more in the upcoming chapters. That's all for my report, and thank you for listening. Once again, good morning.